Are you ready for change?
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
You're listening to Mr. Change Agent, a podcast with your host Ron Ovid of Empower Ministry. He's a recovery coach, pastor counselor, author, and creator of Emotional Relearning. We've been talking a lot about habits, and we've been talking a lot about how to change habits and how to drop those bad habits and how to work on it and overcome. And it's just been a thrilling series, and I know I've appreciated it, and I imagine all of our listeners have as well. And I do have a question, though, Ron. Let's say I recognize the habit, and you've given us all kinds of good advice: change the channel, distract yourself, set new goals, replace it with other habits, or cut it cold turkey, whatever. And I guess depending upon the habit, some are easier than others. But what about the person that is really starting to have some victory? I mean, they're getting rid of that nasty habit, and yet relapse or something happens, they get tempted again. How do you stay on track? Are there things you can do to help you stay on track and have a good length of success? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, a lot of people ask that question, and it's something I think we need to address, because relapse prevention is really the name of the game. It's not a question of if we're going to slip. Sometimes we do, especially in the early stages. These things have been wired into our brain. We don't know every trigger out there. Things catch us off guard. Stress is, I think, the big one. And what I would do is really try to picture myself in different stressful situations and calming down. That's, again, I've mentioned our mind skills program. I would recommend people do that, where they can learn what to do when that body gets overexcited and how to
Now,
do
mind
that.
skills, you've mentioned that's on the YouTube channel, correct?
Well, some of them are, but it's actually a course. If they really want to get into it and learn, then I recommend that they take our course. Mind skills, and I go through all kinds of things that they can do to help that, to calm it down. But there are things that they can do and things that they shouldn't do, and maybe we can do this in 2 podcasts here. Let's focus maybe this time on things we should do, and then next one we'll do things we shouldn't do.
Okay.
So, and you don't have to listen to me on this. So you don't have to do it. I'm not going to make you do it, right? And people will object. But one of the first things you should start doing is eating healthier. Eating is an important thing. We're chemical beings. A lot of chemicals going on. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of this stuff is neurotransmitter deficiency. A lot of times we're low on different kinds of neurotransmitters, be it serotonin or dopamine, and different kinds of neurotransmitters. And so eating healthy is one way that we can get some of those amino acids that we need for our neurotransmitters, where actually our brain is functioning right. I know I take quite a few amino acids. I don't have to do it all the time. I stop for a while, but I just to keep my thinking going well. Eat protein. It's crucial for the health of the brain. Protein is crucial. Most of us don't get enough. Avoid processed carbs and sugar. It's so hard because, my goodness, baked goods and all kinds of things. But you'll be amazed how you can have good tasting food and you can live without a lot of that stuff. It cut it in half anyway. Start cutting it down. A lot of times a person, for example, if their substance of choice is alcohol, a lot of times eating sugar will trigger them. So sugar is a lot of times a trigger. Don't skip a meal. A lot of times we skip meals, and I'm good at that. The whole big fad now, intermittent fasting, and I get that. But a lot of times skipping a meal, that can trigger our cravings sometimes.
How about vitamins and supplements? Are
Sure.
they phony, or do they work?
I'm not going to take that on. I mean, I don't think they're phony. I think there's all kinds of arguments. If you're taking the hard capsules, well, the toilet's ending up with all the vitamins, and all that stuff. But I take vitamins. I take vitamins. I think it's okay. I don't think you have to buy the most expensive ones in the world, But here again, eating naturally, eating healthy is probably where you're going to get a lot of it. But I don't think it's wrong to supplement at all. Second thing is exercise. Boo, boo. But
all right. Thank you for joining us today.
But exercise, it doesn't mean, you see all these things where the people are beating themselves up and, doing this CrossFit. I'm a freak on exercise. I exercise a lot. I'm in pretty good shape for my age, and I've worked out all my life. But you don't have to kill yourself. Right now, since my back became really sore, I started walking, and I never thought there'd be a day that I'd be walking, but I'm walking instead of running, and it's great. I use it for meditation. I use it for creativity. A lot of times when I'm stuck, all of a sudden, hey, it's time for my 30-minute walk or something. I try to do my 10,000 steps. So exercise is important. Aerobic exercise, strength training. I use the rubber bands. Boy, I never thought there'd be a day for that, right? I was Mr. Let's use the weights, in the weight room. But I put these things, I hang them in my kitchen on the door there. I've got 3 different rubber band things. Man, I do a hard routine with that. And you can start off with light and get bigger bands and, man, get a great exercise. So it doesn't matter what age you are. There's exercises you can do, stretching and that.
Should you talk to a doctor, though, if you have health issues?
Good point. Any of this stuff, whether it's amino acids, vitamins, what kind of food you should eat, exercise. I'm not a doctor. I would recommend that you talk to your doctor first. Good point. Thanks.
But even if you have health issues, there's things you can do. I mean, don't let that stop you. Talk to your doctor, because I think any doctor would fall over if here you are with all kinds of certain ailments, and you go and say, doctor, I just want to feel better. Can you help me out? What kind of things can I do? Can I take supplements? Can I exercise? They'd probably go, what? Yeah. Sure. So, talk to your doctor about it.
They'll help you. Yeah, the chiropractors are good, too. They can help you a lot. Now, here's one that a lot of people don't like to hear, and that is get sleep. Sleep is so important. Sleep is just crucial. I went through college, graduate school, and boy, there was all those arguments. You see the pendulum swing, right? Yeah. Oh, you don't need sleep. And, I was one of those guys that would focus. I would concentrate my sleep into short amounts, and I'd stay up because I'm in graduate school, and I'd live on 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep. But that gets old after a while. Here again, it becomes your normal. You'll be amazed if you start getting 7 to 8 hours sleep, how much better you can function. The body needs its rest. It needs its rest. Cravings, come a lot of times because we're tired. And stress adds stress to that. So sleep is important. There's a whole sound therapies where we have these things that you can put like under your pillow. It's a pad, dream pad. It plays filtered music, but it does it through bone induction, and it retrains your ears to listen for certain things, and it calms you down. It's amazing. It works with the vagus nerve. We'll have those on our website if they want to know more. But there's things you can do for sleep. So sleep is really important. Another one, have fun. Have fun.
Oh, come on, you're kidding. Have fun.
Have fun. Your work can be fun. You can be in a deadbeat job. Well, make it fun. Do some things, play some games, get some hobbies going, get social with some people and play some. My wife loves board games, do some different kinds of games. Have some fun. Watch a comedian on TV or something every once in a while. Laugh. That's important.
How about service activities like visit nursing homes or stuff like that? Are there things you can...
Sure, that's one of
others?
Oh, sure, serving others is huge. I mean, that's the 12th step, basically, in the 12 steps, right? Going out and helping other people. Getting out of yourself is a big thing. It can help other people, and that's important. Now, again, sometimes we're excessive in everything, and none of these, I'm saying, be excessive. We're not trying to trade an addiction where we're not doing this and now we go over and we do something else addictively, to the extreme. But helping people is important. Loving yourself, self-compassion. You'll be surprised. If we could record our inner critic, we'd be amazed how it yells at us, calls us, berates us. I don't know where we picked that up. I was doing play therapy with this child once. And so play therapy, I had a sandbox, and we had toys in there and dolls and, mom and dad. So this baby, or child, I should say, picked up mama, and had the children and just started yelling at the child and doing all this stuff. I'm there, whoa, where, because I knew the parent. I knew they weren't that way. At least I hope they weren't, And no parent is, but a child exaggerates these things in their head, and that grows up with us. And instead, what I know now is I know how I love my boys and my grandchildren. And so I need to treat myself like I would if my son came to me with a problem, or he blew it, or he did something wrong. I wouldn't berate him. I wouldn't be putting him down or doing the things I say. So self-compassion is important.
That's important, Ron. I mean, that's resonating with me, and I'm sure others. We're so hard on ourselves.
Oh, my
sometimes.
gosh.
And it doesn't mean we ignore problems or we ignore bad habits or things we do, but ask yourself, what would I do if my child came to me with this problem and had confessed it to me?
Yeah.
How would I react? Would I say, get out of the house, I hate you, I'll never talk to you again? No.
Right.
You're going to be compassionate.
Exactly.
So you're saying be compassionate to yourself.
Yeah, self-compassion. It's huge. It's huge.
Even tough love on yourself.
Well, yeah, you can be tough love, but you do it with compassion and understanding, not berating. I teach breathing, and one of the things beautiful about breathing is that you're trying to focus on your breath. That's probably the number one that everybody teaches, focus on your breath. The key about focusing on your breath is that sooner or later, you're going to lose your concentration. You can't help it. And the point about that is just don't judge yourself. Just return to the breath. And that habit alone, because what do we do when we do something? Man, I used to clean carpets in between ministries, just to make some extra money. I'll never forget. I'm cleaning a carpet, I'm shampooing it, and all of a sudden the cord 50 feet behind me gets unplugged or gets stuck. All of a sudden, there's son of a gun. And I go, where in the world did that come from? What just crawled out of my mind here and started berating me down like this? And so I know we're off on a tangent, but this self-compassion is so important. And we need to learn to love ourselves. And then cut out stimulants. I got convicted, here I'm working with people and crack, right? I mean, you talk about a huge issue in stimulants and everything, and I'm teaching how to overcome habits, and yet I was a 12, 13 can of Diet Mountain Dew a day, right? And I started saying, okay, I'm going to go cold turkey on this. How can I tell other people to cut out stimulants? And I'm sitting here
because of the
drinking
caffeine you're talking about, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying a person's got to quit their coffee in the morning or whatever. I'm not here to do that. But you'd be surprised how much stimulants we're taking all the time. And if you're trying to stop something like that excites you or do whatever, then you're substituting away. And what you want to do is learn to live. And I started pre-living the fact that I can be just as happy, just as energized, just as focused, just as on top of it without the caffeine. In fact, I've written most of my books without caffeine. So I know that you can live without all the stimulants. Your brain is marvelous. So those are some of the things I think that, get professional or emotional help, go to support group meetings, call a sponsor and trusted friends, and then finally, practice spiritual discipline. I believe strongly in Christian spirituality. I believe strongly in the God and His Holy Spirit and the Word of God and how it can really, really affect us. And so I would encourage them to meditate and read scriptures, get involved in a church.
Well, Ron, I think that's something that takes a little bit of attention on itself. And I'd like to break here and get into the next podcast, and let's pick it up on this practice spiritual disciplines and the calling a trusted friend. I think we need to talk about that. I think finding the right friend is probably very important. So thank you for joining us today on this podcast. Fascinating stuff, and I trust you'll listen to this over and over again. Tell your friends about these podcasts. Send it to them. Send them links. Let them know that there's a lot of experience that Ron's sharing here with you guys.
There's hope.
He's been in this a long time.
There's hope.
There's hope. There is hope. And we need to share this with our friends. It's give them the gift of hope and let them hear these Mr. Change Agent podcasts. And go to the YouTube channel as well. Just go to YouTube in the search bar. Go ahead and put Mr. Change Agent. You'll see a picture of Ron. Just hit that and you'll be right on the channel. and you can subscribe there and share that with others as well. So thank you for joining us for Mr. Change Agent. Be sure to go to their website, which is empowerforliving.com. There's a book that's free, an ebook you can download. If you go to that same website, empowerforliving.com/trigger, and that book is yours free, and you'll really benefit from it. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Mr. Change Agent.